Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about 6 weird eating habits of a narcissist. Narcissists are very different when it comes to food, and I'm going to explain why, okay? Number 1, narcissists in general are very, very particular about what they eat, okay? Narcissists need to control food. So you have narcissists that either love junk food or you have narcissists that have to have home cooked meals, all right? Which could be very, very difficult. And they do that on purpose. Some narcissists who love home cooked meals will, they can be impossible to live with because everything has to be just so. They have to control what they eat, what everybody else eats, what the children eat. All right. They don't want anything processed. It has to be a home cooked meal and it's got to be cooked right. Okay. They will complain if their food is too hot, too cold, if it's not cooked right. So narcissists can be impossible when it comes to dinner time. And usually at dinner time, narcissists love to pick a fight. Always at the dinner table, there may be a fight, all right? That's when, they use food to pick a fight with you because they need to control everything. And if something's off with what they're eating, they're going to start a fight about it, okay? I remember dealing with a narcissist where he said, oh, the food isn't hot enough. And I kept warming it up and he still was like complaining, it's not hot enough, it's not hot enough. Like just needed to control everything, all right? The other thing too is narcissists, they will make you feel uncomfortable when you're eating. They'll look at what you're eating and they'll be like, oh, you're eating that? Oh, I can't believe you would eat that, or you shouldn't be eating that. Like they want to always critique everything when it comes to food. They always have to add their 2 cents. You'll see this also if you go to a restaurant with a narcissist. Nobody picks on the food more than a narcissist does. They're the ones who are going to keep sending the food back to the kitchen. Oh, this isn't done right, or this is horrible. So they're the complete nitpickers when it comes to food. They always have to pick on how the food is cooked, how it's done, what they're eating. So they can make somebody's life miserable. You know who they are? They're like the Karens that when you go to a restaurant, all they do is complain about this, complain about that, drive the waiters or waitresses crazy because they need to control what they're eating, all right? The other thing that they do is, they'll make you feel uncomfortable for eating. Sometimes when a narcissist, when you're eating or something like that, they're going to be like, oh, you're eating again? Or, they're going to criticize every time you eat. Or when you're supposed to eat with them, they'll say, oh, I'm not hungry, to make you feel guilty for eating, all right? They do it on purpose because they want to ruin your meal. They again, it's all about control, okay? It's all about control. The other thing that I want to bring up, when you're dealing with the broke, busted narcissist, the broke, busted narcissist never likes to go out and eat. Why? Because they don't want to spend money, okay? Because you're dealing with a broke, busted narcissist. What they love to do is to cook in your kitchen. The broke, busted narcissist, nobody loves to cook in your kitchen more than the narcissist. And some narcissists do like to cook. They'll cook, but they'll leave a mess. That's what they do. They'll leave a mess, and they also want praise when they cook. They want everybody to be like, oh, you're the best cook that ever was. You're the best cook that ever was, okay? Another thing that I want to bring up about narcissists is narcissists love to snack, okay? They're snackers. And a lot of times, narcissists love to snack late at night. So you may be going to bed and they'll be like, no, I'll be up. And they'll be like snacking, going in the kitchen all night long, making noise, going into the refrigerator, pots and pans going, everything. And they do it on purpose to like ruin your night or wake you up because maybe they know you have a meeting the next day, but they'll be snacking all day long, and they also snack too and then ruin the meal because now when you've made dinner or something, now they're not hungry anymore. So they love to just eat whenever and they don't care, all right? The other thing I want to bring up with narcissists is narcissists, a lot of times when you're eating with them, they love to have their phone there, okay? They're more focused in on their phone than, eating with everybody, enjoying dinner at the dinner table. And, they're always hyper-focused on their phones. Why? Because they want to see what's going on with their other supply. So they'll be, looking at their phones. Then they, of course, turn their phones upside down and then go back to eating and then go back on their phone. They turn their phone upside down because they don't want you to see what they're doing or what they're talking to, or who they're talking to, okay? What's another weird eating habit with the narcissist when it comes to eating? A lot of times narcissists will rush dinner and then leave the table fast, okay? And then everybody else is sitting there. Why is that? Because the narcissist doesn't want to spend time with everybody. The narcissist has a whole other secret life. They come, they may eat fast, or they don't eat enough, or they say, "Oh, I'm not hungry," and then they go to their room or they go into another room so that they could be having a little conversation again on their phone, or so that they don't have to interact with everyone, because the narcissist is living a whole secret life and they don't want to sit down, enjoy a dinner with everybody and be focused on everything. Their head is always somewhere else and they're always focused on other things. Even when they're eating, they're always focused on other things, okay? Now, I'm going to give you another scenario with how narcissists are weird with eating. Narcissists may also come to the table and just be, hoarding and eating their food, all right? Eating the food a lot and everything and not even looking at anybody. And you're saying, well, look at them. They're just, shoving food down their throat and everything. And yet they're not eating slowly, normally, having a conversation with everybody. No, they don't care. They're just there to glom the food and then just to get up and leave, okay? They'll maybe rush and then leave the table. One other thing that I've noticed with narcissists, you guys, and this is really true, the narcissist is the one who will not pick up the plate after dinner, okay? This is so true, all right? They don't ever clean up their mess. This is one thing about narcissists. Some narcissists I know will cook in the kitchen, all right? But one thing about them, you never see them cleaning up. You never see them cleaning up. So you'll be the one always picking up their plate off the table and taking it, to the sink and cleaning up, all right? Because they feel entitled. They feel like they don't have to clean up after themselves. That's your job, okay? That's your job. So narcissists always feel entitled. The other thing I want to bring up about narcissists, about their weird eating habits, a lot of narcissists hide food, okay? They'll hide food in the refrigerator. They'll hide food in their room. They may hide cereal boxes. They may hide snacks because they don't want anybody else to have it, all right? They don't want to share with anybody else. It's theirs. They're very selfish. Some of them are gluttons. They don't, they want to make sure that, they're the ones that get whatever is bought at the store, and they rarely ever want to share their food, okay? So this is all the ways that narcissists are. And, when it comes to eating, narcissists can make your life a living misery. They could just make your life a living misery because they just are so, they're so difficult when it comes to food and cooking. Like I said, the one thing you got to understand when you're dealing with a narcissist, they are very particular about their food, and they will bitch and moan about if it's not cooked right, if it has not enough salt, if the seasoning isn't right. Oh, why did you buy this piece of meat? Oh, this is garbage. This meat tastes tough. You don't know how to cook, you don't know how to do this. They'll always have something to say. They always have to control the cooking about how it's done. That's how it is. They always have to control the cooking about how it's done. So the narcissist, you know, they're they're a nightmare when it comes to food. They are just a nightmare when they come to food. When it comes to food, they don't want to share their food. Most of the time, they do not want to share their food. They can hoard food. They could hide food. Um, they criticize you when you're eating and tell you, oh, you're eating all that. Or if you go up and you go get seconds for food, they'll be like, oh my God, you're going to get it more. All right. They want to make you feel uncomfortable. Okay. They're very, very judgmental. They're very, very judgmental. We know that narcissists need control, but one of the things narcissists absolutely love to control is food. And they love to make you feel uncomfortable. That's why a lot of times you're going to be like, you're not going to wait. You can't wait for dinner to be over. Like dinner time, you can't wait for dinner to be over because it's always a nightmare with a narcissist because you can never just sit down and relax. Narcissists are always anxious. They're always nervous. And also it shows in how they eat food because they're always going to be a nervous wreck, eating their food fast and then maybe getting up and leaving the table and leaving their plate on the table. Or they're going to sit there with their judgy eyes staring at you while you're eating, making you feel uncomfortable for what you're eating. The fact that you may have too much food or too little food, or is that all you're going to eat? The other thing that I want to bring up about weird habits with narcissists when it comes to food is they love to sabotage you when you're trying to lose weight. So they may prepare a meal or try to give you foods that are going to help, that's going to make you gain weight. Maybe they know you're on a diet, and what do? They go out and they buy a bunch of cakes, cookies, candies, cakes, or they make a meal that's really, really fattening, okay? Like a mac and cheese meal or something like really greasy and fried or something, Kentucky Fried Chicken or something greasy and fried or something like that. And they'd be like, oh, I bought this. We're going to eat this tonight. And you'd be like, hey, I'm on my diet or something. Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll work it off or something. And they do it deliberately because they want to sabotage you, because the narcissist doesn't want you to lose weight. They don't want you to. They want you to, not look good. They want to be the ones who look good. And they want, they don't want to make you feel good, feel independent, or, feel that you can go find somebody else because they're insecure. So they don't ever want you to think that you're better than them. So they'll sabotage you by, making fattening meals or bringing home fattening foods, cakes, cookies, donuts, this. Oh, I brought some donuts for us from Dunkin' Donuts. Here. They want to fatten you up because they don't want you to look good because they feel threatened, all right? Even if they know like you're going to the gym or something. Oh, what better way to sabotage all your hard work at the gym than to bring home a bag of donuts or cookies or cake and say, oh, have one. One is not going to bother you. This is what is not going to hurt you. This is what they'll say. Oh, just have one. One's not going to hurt you. They do it deliberately. They're trying to break you because they are jealous of your self-care and jealous of you, trying to lose weight. All right. So the weird eating habits of the narcissist is that they're particular. Most of the ones I've known, you guys, oh my gosh, every last one of them was a nitpicker when it came to their food. Whoo, were they a nitpicker when they came to their food? But there are some narcissists that love junk food, that just eat junk food, okay? But the ones that I knew, they were particular. Everything had to be a home-cooked meal, had to be cooked this way, had to be cooked that way, bitching and moaning, no, it's not done this way, it's not cooked that way. They're the great experts in the kitchen, or so they think they're the great experts in the kitchen, all right? They need to control all the cooking. Narcissists always need to control cooking and eating and all of that. They love that. And they love to make you feel uncomfortable with eating as well, all right? They eat all times of the day. They snack. and they criticize your food. They love to criticize what you eat. Like, oh, you're going to eat that garbage? Why would you eat that? Oh, that's not good for you. Why are you going to eat that? Why are you going to eat processed meats? Or why are you going to eat, cold cuts? Or why that's not good? Then you get a whole speech of why it's not good for you. Okay. Then they love to give you a whole speech of why it's not good for you and tell you what you should and shouldn't be eating. They want to control not even so much what they want to eat. They want to control what you eat too. All right. Complaining constantly about food being hot, being cold, being salty. This wasn't cooked right. You don't know what you're doing in the kitchen. A lot of them, they don't like to eat out. They rather, be home and having you, do the cooking and stuff. Some do like to cook, but, again, the ones that do like to cook are the ones that leave a big mess. All right. Big mess. They like to cook, like to be praised for it, and then expect you to clean the big mess up. All right. And the other thing too is a lot of them, like, they're just not connected with you when you eat with them. You'll find that, they're just focused in more on their food than they are in enjoying a meal with you. Okay. Like, you can eat with a narcissist and they're pretty much, they're focused in on their food and they couldn't care less whether you were there or you weren't there. All right. So if they're not criticizing about the food that they're eating, then they're shoveling it down their throat and then getting up from the table and going somewhere else. All right. Running to the bathroom to text the other supply or call the other supply. So they eat and then they run and they get up. All right. Or they eat and they're staring at their phone and then flipping their phone facing down so you don't see what they're doing on their phones. And or a lot of times too, another thing that they do is they rush eating and then they run out the door. Okay? They try to have a quick meal with you. They're not sitting there, they're not enjoying the meal with you. It's a quick meal. They take a couple of bites, may not eat everything, and say, "Oh, I got to go. I got to run here. I got to run to the store. I got to run to my mother's house." So, they're not sitting down, they're not eating, they're just taking a couple bites and then they run. Or they say, "Oh, I'll take the food with me. I'll take the food with me," or something like that. They also, like I said before, they hide their food, all right? So these are all the weird habits of the narcissist. And I'll tell you, it's weird because these narcissists are living a secret life. That's why it's weird. They live a secret life that you don't know about, and they're not focused in so much on you and enjoying a meal. They're focused in on everything else that's going on that you don't know about. Okay? And if they are there, they're there in body. When you eat with a narcissist, most of the time, they're there in body. Their head is somewhere else. If it's not on their phones, it's about thinking about the other supply. And they just make eating like a nightmare. They just do. They just make eating a nightmare because they make you feel uncomfortable. You'll always feel that anxiety, that nervousness at the dinner table. Okay? So I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. If you're confused, you don't know if you're dealing with a narcissist, if they're overt, covert, grandiose, malignant, and they could be a combination of both, you guys. You could be dealing with a covert, malignant narcissist. People don't even realize that. And you need clarity. Check out the link in the bio for the one-on-one phone coaching. Also, check out my YouTube. It's got over 6,000 videos. I really tried to put as much information on there for you guys about the discard, the manipulation, the triangulation. I think I've covered almost everything. I'm trying to figure out what else I've missed. The other thing is TikTok is The Game Exposed. Instagram is The Game EXP123. And Facebook right now is The Game EXP777. And have a great day, you guys.